Welcome to Rwanda Basic Education Report, a multimedia production studio. I am Ezekiel Tuishime. I'm with the Director of Teacher Training Unity at Rwanda Basic Education Report, Mr. Murasira Gerard. You are welcome.
Thank you.
In the studio, we are also with Dorothy Tukuzimana. She is a teacher. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Oprah Winnie said that doing the best at this moment puts you in the best place for the next moment. Nelson Mandela said that education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. If you want to change the world, educate your people. Doing the best at this moment. Train your students, train the teachers. Mr. Murasira, in Rwanda we have 16 TTCs across the country, and probably regarding what Oprah Winnie said, why did you really choose and take this initiative of training the teachers?
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Ezekiel. Well, we train in-service teachers, but we said instead of training only in-service teachers, it's better we train them, but also go down and start with student teachers who are still at school. That is TTCs. So the reason is, in fact, we thought starting with student teachers in TTCs, that is year 1, year 2, year 3, we will end up having graduates who are capable in different areas. So once they will be well prepared from TTCs, we train them from TTCs, it will ease our work once they are already in service. That is one. Two, we believe that once they are still schooling, that is the right moment to train them, because they're even fresh to learn before they even engage in other, responsibilities. Yes.
My expectations when I reached the center for the first time, I thought that I'm going to improve my teaching. I remember it was in 2012. Yes, we were in Huye. It was my first time to be trained by REP. Yeah, from that time, I really got different skills that helped me to improve my teaching. And the following year, I was also trained by REP. Little by little, I improved my teaching. Yes, and after some years, I became a trainer also. Yeah, yes. And that time I was very excited to be a trainer.
Today you are doing it better than the other time. So, Mr. Murasira, technology is something that is training today. No technology, no life. In the Rwandan schools, I know REB is ensuring that teachers are adequately trained to go and teach ICT to those kids. How do you train teachers to go and teach the kids?
Thank you very much. You've said it. Nowadays, you can't put, whatever you do, you can't put ICT aside. It should be part and parcel of everyday activities, so including training. That is, we endeavor to train teachers at all levels. I say all levels, I mean pre-primary, primary, and secondary. We make sure first and foremost that every teacher has digital skills, so that whenever he teaches or she teaches, tries to use ICT devices at their disposal to integrate them into teaching and learning. That is, if one is teaching geography, uses ICT. If one is teaching let's say, languages, English, say, or French or Swahili, uses ICT. So first of all, make sure that every teacher is skilled digitally. But at least every teacher should be well equipped. We even started this actually from pre-service. I was talking about in-service, but we started now from pre-service.
Could you mind sharing with us your experience on how teachers benefited from the trainings?
Thank you very much. Starting with the previous question about the skills in the ICT, before I would say ICT penetration into schools, teachers, not most of them, maybe some of them or many of them could tell you that they have never touched, let's say, a mouse. But with the ICT penetration, with the installing the smart classrooms at the different schools, via the training, now all teachers now, you can't intimidate him he or her about ICT. Yeah, so they can go there, and in any lesson, you see him integrating it, because that is the purpose. Most of the teachers are using those devices as tools to enhance teaching and learning in their different areas. But that is what the experience we have. Before, they could not even, actually they were very fearful of even touching the keyboard. But now, they are the ones now using them for the purpose of teaching and learning. Very recently, even now, it's in progress, training teachers, the ones we call uncertified teachers, did not have teaching background.
Those who did not attend teacher training
colleges, yes. This one, before, one could not even know how to stand in front of students. One could not know how to stand in front of pupils. One could know where to start on a chalkboard. Those ones who are still using chalks and boards. Should I start from lefty? Right. Oh, they couldn't guess. By now, they tell you they are marvelous teachers. So that's another very good experience. In the trainings, we try also, apart from visiting them in our ongoing trainings, we give them a kind of micro teaching. And when they teach in our trainings, they teach their fellow colleagues, or you see that they deliver outstandingly their lessons. So those are two experiences. They have very many, but those are two I can share. Yeah. Thank you.
Madam Dorothy.
Yes.
Can you say something about ICT usage? The day you were called to join training prepared by REB, reaching there, maybe you were trained about English and many more others, but let's come back on ICT. What is the impact of ICT in your work of teaching and learning that you're doing at school?
Okay, thank you so much. The first day I went in training organized by REB, it was the time when RTPE was helping REB to train teachers. I remember that time they trained us to use English in classroom, but also to integrate ICT when we are teaching. Yeah, I remember that time, it's the time I took a decision to use ICT. I'm a literature teacher. Yeah, I teach literature. So I decided to take a technique which is called reciprocal teaching, and I integrated it in my lesson.
Reciprocal teaching, how does it work?
Yes, it is just a technique that you use, and every student feels responsible to teach or to help you teach that lesson. I give you an example. When I want to teach a story, I make sure everyone has a book, a novel. Then I put them in 5 groups. Every group has, the first group, I call the first group summarizers. So they read the story, then after they summarize it to the whole class. The second group, I call them questioners. They make sure that they ask questions, many questions to the class. Then the third group, I call them predictors. I tell them, after telling us a story or telling us a summary, you just imagine the other ending of the story. They do it perfectly. Then the third group, no, the fourth, I call them connectors. Now I tell them, this is not the first lesson or the first story you study. You are going to think of the previous lessons, just in the previous lessons, the story that seems to be similar with this one. Then you will try to connect maybe characters, maybe different situations. Then after presenting the summary, they also have to present the summary of the story, then connect the characters or situations. And the last group, I call them visualizers. Now, I tell them, to be sure that you understand the story, you will draw the story, then you explain the whole story to the rest of the class. They do it perfectly. Then after, before they role play it, we sit or we go in the computer lab, we watch it on YouTube. Then I tell them to organize the play, just what they have read in the story. They are now going to role play it. Yes. So that is a technique that I learned it in the training, in the first training I did with REP, and I think today I just use it in my class. Thank you.
How about ICT?
Thank you. I most of the time use ICT when I'm going to introduce a lesson. I like to use it in the first chapter of Senior 5, Literature Senior 5. It is called The Period in European Literary Tradition. You know, you can't talk about Europe if you don't go on YouTube or on Google, then you observe and tell students to just to see how people were in that period of time, how they just navigate or they use Google and YouTube just to observe those different periods. And it becomes very easy for me to teach them those periods and how they differ from one another.
Mr. Murasira, how could you really address inclusive education in ICT, in English, in trainings, inclusive education towards training? How do you address it?
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Ezekiel. Well, as you've said it, we train our teachers, our fellow teachers, into different domains. All those trainings, as we prepare them, just from preparations, we think of inclusivity. Inclusive education is actually, it cuts across all our trainings. I would say, as I've said, from the preparations, we are likely to have trainees who themselves need to be inclusive in our trainings. That is one. But also the teachers, trainees we have, we know we are training them to go and better teach the learners. So we have in mind inclusivity because among the students, the pupils, these trainees, teacher trainees of ours, will go and teach after the training. Among them, they are inclusive cases. So we cater for inclusive education right from the preparation. Where need be, we use some, let's say for example, if we are talking about maybe, let's say an audiovisual extract want to teach our teachers, want to train our teachers on. We make sure if we are using the audio-visual, we should think of people who may not be able to hear, but maybe can see but cannot hear. Then in that case, we use sign language. We use sign language, so as those ones who can hear what is being played. Then there is another person to use sign language, so that those ones who cannot hear at least can see. That is in preparation, but also in practices. And we try to request them that what we do in trainings are the ones actually they will be doing back at their schools when they are teaching. They should cater for them, even the preparations of the lesson plans.
Being disabled does not mean that you are not able. Right?
Yeah, maybe disabled, but you're able.
But you're able.
Yes.
Right. So our teachers are able to take care of the students, of pupils, since they were trained. They know difficulties, they know challenges for those kids. They are able and they are ready to overcome the challenges that are around. Madam Dukuzimana Dorothy, among the trainings, I know you go into the training about English proficiency, right?
Right.
How has it helped you to communicate with your fellow colleagues, but also how English proficiency is helping you to perform the work of teaching, of course?
Okay, thank you. After getting trainings in English proficiency, I also went to my school and trained other teachers. We have a training every week, once a week, and I think some of the teachers tell me that they changed the way they used to teach before because of the trainings, English proficiency training. So I think it is really productive at my school. Yeah.
The Rwandan families, in most cases, man and father, maybe they didn't get a chance to go to school, or if they visited the school, they reached the school, it's not of the highest level. It seems at home they don't speak English. They always use Rwanda. Some schools, especially in remote areas. After being trained, you and the other teachers who got those trainings on English proficiency, what could be really the outcome? Is there any improvement you see among the kids from a certain level to another level? Are you seeing students speaking? Are you seeing students answering the questions from the teacher? Are you seeing the teacher interacting with the kids in English? Do you think our future Rwanda will be able to compete with others on labor market?
Thank you. I think our future Rwanda will be able to compete with other countries at the global market because normally after training teachers, we sit and think what we can do so that we can implement what we learn in the training. I can give you an example. In this year, at my school, we sat together as teachers, staff. Then we decided to start English club at school, whole school. So we did it so that we can help students to be free with English. Students are happy when we have English club. It is just once a week. When they have English club, they are very happy and they feel free to interact with among themselves and to interact with the teachers in English. Even those kids of primary, our club starts from P4 up to senior 6. So even a P4 student feels very happy to interact with a senior 5 student in games, in different activities. Yes. I really think that if we continue like that, by the end of the year, we'll have different students from the ones we had before we started the club.
Probably others who are following us can copy from you. That's amazing experience. This is Meet Educationalists segment and Study Hub program. I am Ezekiel Tuishime. In the studio, we are with guests, Mr. Murasira. There are some challenges. Of course, to train teachers across the country, it's not something easy. What are the challenges that you meet while training the teachers across the country, and you propose the way you overcome them?
Well, yeah, thank you very much. Well, there are, of course, achievements. Before I even talk about the challenges, there are many achievements. We talked about it. My colleague Dorothy has also elaborated more on it. Yeah, so there is a very big step that's already made in as far as education is concerned, and more particularly the capacity of teachers. Yeah, there is really a very significant step. Well, as far as the challenges are concerned, of course, as you want to train all teachers, let's say, if you want to train, let's say, mathematics teachers across the country. So you wish to have them at the same level, at least train them, reach out to them, but during the bigger number of them, you know, mathematics is taught at every school, at least primary, at every primary school, at every O-level school. So having all those teachers at the same time is costly. You've said donors, development partners, you work together, or other stakeholders to reach out to as many teachers as possible, but we haven't made it. So the solution on that, we have a very good practice in Rwanda, in all other sectors, but including education, homegrown solutions. So in the principle of homegrown solutions, we actually started continuous professional development. This is where teachers at their respective schools, they have time dedicated to support one another, teach one another. Of course, there are some guidelines that govern this that was actually made by REB and all other stakeholders that govern those circles at every school, be it at the departmental level, that is teachers of English being together and try to help one another, mathematics teachers, let's say history teachers, together they teach one another. So in that case, it won't actually require much money. So that is the solution, I would say, that was strategized in that case. Maybe another thing that is a challenge in as far as English proficiency is concerned, our teachers have not been teaching using English as medium of instruction for long. It's relatively new. So when we teach them, it is as if actually we train them, but back at home, because Kinyarwanda is spoken throughout. Whoever you meet can speak Kinyarwanda among other Rwandans. So they tend practicing English only when they are at school, or only when they are in a training or in CPD. But outside that circle,
Reaching the market,
leave alone home, even at school before outside the circle. I mean, after the training, after the CPD, out of that circle, they start speaking Rwanda, which is our mother tongue, which you like it so much. But since we need also to improve the English proficiency, we encourage them at certain point to use English. There comes time for Kinyarwanda, French, Kiswahili, and others. So that commonality, commonality of on Kinyarwanda by all Kinyarwanda, which is a very good advantage, but at some point it becomes an disadvantage in as far as English proficiency is concerned. Yep.
Madam Dorothy, there are some teachers who are slow to understand and to join. When they call upon them to join trainings, maybe he comes one day and another one, he goes in another service. What is the advice do you provide to those teachers who are slow in taking decision to join others?
So I can provide advice. I can tell them that they have to change with the time. So Rwanda that we had yesterday, it is not Rwanda that we have today. And maybe it is not Rwanda that we will have tomorrow. So if there are some changes in the country, we have to bear with them and try to fit in the changes. So that is the advice that I can give them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, we are coming to the end of the program. But before I leave you going, Madam Dorothy, do you have an advice, a piece of advice to headmasters, teachers, and many more other people, even the students and the pupils?
Okay, so the message that I can give it to students and teachers is that if Rwanda adopted the system of teaching in English, or we are in East African community, in Uganda they use a lot of English, even in Tanzania. So in Rwanda also, we have to make ourselves ready.
Have to cope up.
Yes, then we become ready to compete with them. Otherwise, it will not work. Yeah.
Yes. This is a Meet Educational segment under Study Hub program. I am Ezekiel Tuishime. Remember, Nelson Mandela said that education is the most powerful weapon we can use to change the world. Oprah Winfrey said that doing the best in the right moment puts you in the right place for the next time. We are at the end of the program. Rwanda Basic Education Board's multimedia production studio is the one that you are watching. Drop the comments, messages in the comment box down there. Thank you so much. Mr. Murasira, there's something you want to tell the viewers, those who are following us?
Well, thank you very much. What I would tell the audience, and more particularly to my colleagues, teachers across the country, is that first and foremost, I would wish to congratulate them as of the step made.
Wow.
Yeah, they have made a very significant step at different levels in their areas of specialization, be it in English proficiency, be it in digital literacy, be it in all other subject-based areas. So that's very good. I would say kudos to them. Coming to what I will tell them is that learning has no end. We are used about the word lifelong learning, but also there is this saying in Kiswahili that elimu haina mwisho. So I would encourage them to make some more steps. One, wherever one is, at whatever level you are, make an extra mile. Making that extra mile, all of us together, well, this will positively impact our learners, who are the citizens of Rwanda of tomorrow, who are the leaders of Rwanda of tomorrow. I mean our learners, I mean our students, our pupils, P1 learners, P2, P3, P4.
And the pre-primary
I pre-primary. See, so our efforts as teachers are not limited to ourselves, are impacting the ones we teach. So let's learn every day. In as far as learning is concerned, you can't learn in nowadays without using ICT. I talked about the digital literacy, but it should go beyond, beyond just typing skills, beyond that just opening, let's say, a file. No, let's use this ICT to learn more. So using it in teaching and learning, which is the target, but it's not alone. Researches, because whatever now we want to search, you can easily search it because of the ICT. Good enough, the government, thanks to the government of Rwanda, the provision of all these devices across as many schools as possible. There are devices as like, let's say, computers, but also internet connection. All these schools are connected. So let's use internet and the devices we have at school to enrich our knowledge through researches. And I would also encourage them to do a kind of research based on the projects they're having at school, project-based research. Because they're the ones that help them to address the contextualized issues they have in teaching and learning. Besides, I would also want to add that all these, the skills in languages, the skills in sciences, the skills in high technologies, they mean nothing if we don't have the culture, the Rwandan culture. Let's do whatever we do in the context of Rwanda, what will enable us to go and influence the rest of the world. Thank you.
This is Meet Educationalists segment and Study Hub program. I am Ezekiel Tuishime. Remember, Nelson Mandela said that education is the most powerful weapon we can use to change the world. Oprah Winnie said that doing the best in the right moment puts you in the right place for the next time. We are at the end of the program. Rwanda Basic Education Board Multimedia Production Studio is the one that you are watching. Drop the comments, messages in the comments box down there. Thank you so much.